Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Lynn and I like to read a lot and attempt to film some bookish content from time to time. It's been quite a while since I've posted anything. I've figured out that editing, filming, and keeping quality sound and all that stuff is a lot more difficult than it seems. I got a microphone, so I'm feeling like a real professional now. If you're seeing this, it means I figured out how to sync the audio and the video, which is definitely a big achievement for me. I'm so bad at anything technology related, so bear with me. So it is Saturday at almost 8 o'clock. And I thought it would be fun to do a 24-hour readathon type deal. I don't have any more plans for the weekend. I just got home from a baby shower, and the cake icing dyed my mouth kind of green, so if you can see that, that's what that is. But I'm free tomorrow, so I thought I would try to do a 24-hour kind of seeing how much I can read in that time. I've never done anything like that before. I don't even know if reading these is going to be possible, but we're going to see how it goes. I actually just got these books today. They were all used, but they're all they look all brand new, so I'm excited about that. I guess this is kind of like a little mini book haul. This is going to be the first book I'll be tackling, The Girl Who Drank the Moon. And this is, I think, sort of like a middle grade fantasy. There's a evil witch that lives in the woods, but she's not actually evil. People sacrifice their children to her, like they leave a child for her in the woods, and she's like, okay, and grabs them and delivers them to people on the other side of the forest. It says one year she accidentally feeds a baby moonlight. It fills the child with extraordinary magic. There's a young man determined to free his people by killing this supposed, evil witch, a volcano, and all kinds of stuff. So it sounds like there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on in this. I've heard really good things about it, and I think this is just going to be like a really easy and fun read. I actually bought this with my cousin in mind. I think she's turning 12 soon, but I was like, I might as well read this first and kind of see what I think before I give it to her. So yeah, I think this is going to be the first one, just something light to start off the next day or so. The next book up is Tuesdays with Maury, and I don't know much about this. I literally just know what the front of the book says. An old man, a young man, and life's greatest lessons. This is referenced all the time in Gilmore Girls and shows and movies and stuff. So it'll be really good to get some, context on this. I think this is also going to be a very short read. There's not a lot on each page. So I think this should take less than an hour to read, honestly. So the next two books we have are The Parable of the Sower and The Parable of the Talents by Octavia E. Butler. So they are supposed to be dystopian type books. This one was written in 1993, and then it says the plot of it is when global climate change and economic crises lead to social chaos in the early 2020s, very relevant, California becomes full of dangers. And then it looks like we follow a 15-year-old Lauren Alamina, I don't know if I'm saying that right, and kind of how she survives in anarchy and all kinds of stuff like that. I heard this mentioned in another booktuber's all-time favorites, so that's kind of what led me to getting this. And then also the second book in the series. This is referred to, I think, as the Earthseed series. Yeah, these are definitely a little bit longer. This one's a little over 300 pages. I might be able to get through this one. This one is a lot closer to 400 pages. Probably definitely not be able to get through this in this 24-hour challenge, but we're going to try. So without further ado, let's get started. So it's time for a midway point check-in, and I had to move off the couch. I was falling asleep so hard, but that's definitely not because of this book. This has been such a good read, and I mean, right now it's like a 5-star, which was completely not expected. I thought it was going to be kind of cheesy, like a fantasy middle grade, but man, I have been pretty much hooked the whole time, and I'm on page 196, and I think there's about 380 pages or so. I'm so excited to finish this. I can't believe that. I mean, it's really kind of blown me away. They have the cutest little character. There's a super tiny little dragon in it. It kind of reminds me of Mulan, but I just noticed they even have him on the cover. And on the side right there, it's such a cute little detail. But yeah, I'm going to try to finish reading this tonight. I'm just so tired it might not get done. But yeah, I'll check back in once I'm finished and let you guys know my final thoughts. So I just finished The Girl Who Drank the Moon, and this was such a cute read. I think this would be perfect for like a summerween, Halloween read. It had witches and bog monsters and dragons and magic and all that kind of good stuff. I would definitely recommend this. I mean, it was a really good book, but I can see that it would be definitely for kind of a little bit of a younger audience. The end did get a little bit cheesy and predictable, but besides that, I really loved the atmosphere and the characters, and this was written really well. I definitely would like to read some more stuff by Kelly Barnhill in the future. In the grand scheme of things, is this book, like life-changing and all that? I would probably say no, but is it a fun read? Definitely. And I think it was a great first book to start out this weekend. Next up on the roster is Tuesdays with Maury. I will get into this and then kind of let you guys know how it's going. It's time for another check-in. I had to move inside. It's like 95 degrees outside. But I made it a little over halfway through, and I'm on the 6th Tuesday, page 105. And so far, I'm really enjoying it. I have to admit, I thought it would be pretty boring. I don't know why I thought it was going to be, very basic and, I don't know, kind of flat. But it's definitely not. I've been intrigued the whole time. And now it's kind of got that feeling like, if you've read like the Song of Achilles, the whole story, they tell you what the ending is going to be. Achilles is going to die. Like from the beginning of this, they tell you Maury's sick and he's going to die. And it's just like those stories just get me. I'm like heartbroken the whole time. And I have a feeling this one is going to make me cry. But I guess we'll see. I have about 80 pages left, so this should fly by. Okay, I just finished reading Tuesdays with Maury. For some reason, I thought this was a fiction book, but it's actually a memoir, and it's written about the time that Mitch Albom, the author, spent after reuniting with his professor Maury after Maury was diagnosed with ALS. And every Tuesday, a couple months before Maury passes away, the author kind of meets with him and they discuss major life things that Mitch wants Maury's advice on. And the book is very sad, dealing with Maury's death and everything, but it's also a hopeful outlook on death. And it kind of comforted me when reading it, and it gives a whole new perspective on things, what's really important in life, and the things in modern society that are valued way above like relationships and everyday things that we take for granted. So I would definitely recommend this book. It's very short too. It's like 180 pages, and sometimes there's just a few quotes on each page, so it's definitely not a long read. I think now it's time for the third book in this lineup. So I'm starting on The Parable of the Sower now, and this one is definitely more my typical book rather than the first two, so I'm definitely excited to get into this one. It is a little bit longer, so it's going to be a real struggle to try to get it within the 24 hours, but if we go over, that's fine. I might just be up a little bit later reading than I was planning to, but we'll see when we get there. So I'll give you guys a kind of like a midway point update and kind of just a rundown on my thoughts. My brain needed a little break from reading all day, so I went on a nice little afternoon stroll. Hi, hello, I'm back, and I made it to page 243 in The Parable of the Sower. This book is very much giving like the Book of Eli meets The Walking Dead Season 3. If you know, you know. It's pretty rough. I mean, it's like post-apocalyptic, so that's kind of to be expected. If you are like sensitive to violence, especially against women, you might want to avoid this one. It's nothing explicit, but it is pretty prevalent in it. I mean, it's like a post-apocalyptic purge type setting, so that's kind of to be expected. So this book is written in like journal style entries. I think that does keep it very interesting because there are no like lulls. It's all, interesting stuff that's being written down, so it kind of keeps it intriguing in that way. And we start when the main character, Lauren, is 15, and she kind of tells us about her community, and it's still even though they're in a gated community, it's still very dangerous where they live. People are always trying to get in and steal their stuff, and there's all kinds of problems, and people are running around doing crazy stuff. So we follow Lauren as she makes her way up north in California because apparently there's more water and opportunities up there. This book feels very much like the build-up for Parable of the Talents. So this kind of focuses on the journey, and then I'm assuming the Talents would focus on actually starting this community, which they're calling Earthseed. So I definitely want to get into that book as soon as I finish this one because, I want to know what happens. I'm going to finish this up really quick. It's already almost 7:40. I am definitely not going to be able to get to the second one in this reading vlog. It will be in my monthly reading wrap up though, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, I did it. I'm finally finished, you all. Let's get a round of applause. So this is the first time I've done any type of reading challenge, and I really liked it. It helped me get through my TBR, and I realized like halfway through this that I didn't do this like normally, like most people do. They actually like time themselves for 24 hours reading instead of doing just like 24 hours like day to day. So I think next time I'm going to do that, and I'll definitely be able to get through a lot more books that way. Oh, and by the way, it's almost 11 o'clock. So I went like 3 hours over. So I read 3 books in like 25, I can't do math, 27 hours. So that's like the most I've ever read in that short amount of time. So I'm pretty proud of myself. So if you made it this far in the video, I hope you liked this kind of different video, and thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.